Oh, g'day guys. Just got a bit of time to kill on a Saturday night, so I thought I might pop up a quick preview for the Devonport harness meeting on Sunday afternoon. Just keep in mind it is in the afternoon. Kick off at 1:27. I think it finishes about 5 o'clock at 4:59. So, as always with Devonport, barriers are crucial. You sometimes finish up taking pretty average odds, some average horses, but sometimes when you throw the Devonport track into the mix, those two negatives can almost turn into a positive. But anyway, smallish fields, not a great deal of value either, but we'll run through them. I've got the Bet365 market here. They're the only ones up at the moment. In the first, they've got our Wonder Woman very short, $1.35, North Star Lad 350, Joan K 650, and Wardan Star 14. They definitely look the only four hopes in the race. Just seems ridiculously short to me, our Wonder Woman. Early season 3-year-old fillies, like North Star Lad's taken on some pretty handy older types last time in work. Look at the Sky. A couple of other things to take into account here. She did draw one at Devonport. Where were we? Here we go, and got crossed.
And behind still hung over at odds of...
So she's drawn one. Oops. So you can see that she's trying to keep the front, but other horses crossed it. Obviously, if you're going to take that sort of price, you want something more than that. And if we have a look at North Star Lad, when did he draw the front? So you can see he's got to take on Harjeet. And here he is, Simlin Beach, Better Brown Tiger. But we'll just point out his gate.
Sixth race of the day.
So he's second from the outside here in the Craig Hayes colours, same as Scooter Will Rev. So you see he's got pretty good gate speed. And based on what we've seen there, you'd imagine he'd get over in front of the pole horse. Diamond Grace does a bit of gate speed, so it might be a bit of nuisance value early. But the other thing that we can take into account as well is that they did trial against one another at Carrick about 10 days ago. And North Star Lad beat our Wonder Woman home by 6 metres, and they drew virtually identical barriers. But obviously, you're guessing with the trials. If you can't see them, you're not entirely sure what happened, but you'd still prefer it to see. So at the very least, these horses should be much, much closer together, if not. To be honest, I've just got a little... I always take a set about early season 3-year-olds, so I'd actually have North Star Lad favourite. But obviously she may well have improved since a spell, and she did actually improve all the way through a 2-year-old campaign. It does come from a good family, so no pot on her at all. Joan K is also a 3-year-old filly, was okay on debut. And Wardan Star has competed against some pretty handy ones as well, and it's not a bad draw either around Devonport. So I'd go 6, 1, 7 and 3 in the first. In the second, you've got Busted resuming from a spell, drawing the pole, Jemima's Joy, Lake Air, and then probably East Tight Lip was okay the other day. Frankie Falzoni's probably beaten better fields than this, but it's pretty tricky draw. Northview Dave definitely maps to get a good run, so, and that's sort of rounds out the chances. Speed map, pretty important here. Like Busted has gate speed. Jemima's Joy's probably got a little bit more, but over the 22-30 start at Devonport, drawn next to one another, you imagine Busted's got enough speed to hold up. He's first up from a spell. It did trial okay the other day. To use a greyhound terminology, he's a bit of a box one bandit. If we just go through his form, we'll just do a search. Oops, if I just see, I'll just search for GSL, gate speed and lead. So you can see here, Gate Speed led, ran second in Launceston, beaten sort of 0.3 of a metre. He led there, unplaced, but led in Launceston and won, led in Launceston and won. And then we go way back sort of to his 2-year-old days. So, but he also led and won there. So he sort of led 3 times for wins. And he's also, the other thing to take into account, his last start before break was start 10, so he does actually drop a grade. The trial did look okay as well on paper. He got beaten by Mr. Atomic Bet. He beat Aim Courageous Katie, Max Richter. They're in the free-for-all later on. So, yeah, so happy to be unbusted. I think he'll hold up if we just probably try and have a look at his gate speed. So, busted. He does run a lot of placings, so he drew the front here, barrier 3.
Of race number 6 on the card. They're all ready. Marty's for real drawn the inside of the front line. They're set and away. Marty's for real began quickly. Speed also.
It's Marty's for real on the inside, who's a dead set flying machine. So you can see he's come out at least as well as it. The other thing, do like the driving engagement of Rowan Hillier. Because Busted very one-paced, and he's got good hands, Rowan Hillier, and can sometimes make these horses travel. So Lake Air, he won again on Friday night in Launceston. Definitely, he was pacing like a crab up until about a month ago. So his gates got a lot better. Still going to have to work, like if Busted leads, he's just going to go whacking away in 59 half home. So does look the danger. So based on the speed, Busted on top, Lake Air second, Northview Dave third. Recommended bet though. Happy to back Busted to win. If he leads, he just keeps whacking away, as I said. For back a leader at Devonport, always like to have the one on their back as a saver. So something on Northview Dave just to cover expenses. If you just think commonsensically, just made up a word there. But if you're expecting the leader to take you all the way, expecting the leader to win, then obviously that means the leader's back horse is going to get carded, going to be right on its back the entire way and going to have every conceivable itself. So always like to have the leader's back horse covered if it's got any semblance of ability. So happy to do that. So, just cover your outlay more than it, but happy to be on Busted in race 2. A third over the sprint trip. Not a great deal of gate speed here. No Apache Me looks certain to cross. Another one, and does have a good record in sprint trips. Actually won a mile race in Launceston on Friday night. Class horses are at the back here. Home in the Bayou on compliant. As I mentioned, over this trip, it is difficult if there's no speed early, and with the old horses drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they might give a real soft lead to No Apache Me. We might have a look at the odds. Yeah, they've got on compliant. Like the jury's definitely out a little bit on him. Like he very good first few starts in the stake, but have a look here. He's unplaced at $1.45, beaten at $1.60, unplaced at $1.40. And he's passed 3, and he's outside the second row in a 1930 metre race around Devonport. So I'm just saying he's not a betting proposition. May well blow him away on his first couple of runs in the state. He has had a slight let up since his last run. So I do think the bet in the race says home in the Bayou each way. Been very good always sort of been an underrated horse and looks to have turned the corner. The second row draw doesn't really matter, as its best runs have always been when driven sit sprint. So I think you're getting about 650, 180. I think if you're back home in the Baby 1x2, it's probably the safest bet in the race. Like, if you look at the speed map, the 420 No Apache Me might well be value if it gets away with Blue Murder early. But problem with that, the bottom two horses are simply better than it. So if it does cop pressure, it's got no chance of holding them at bay. So it's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario there. So home in the bay each way if forced to pick a bet in a tricky speed map race. The fourth, one of these cup races over the longer distance. You've got Riverboat Jasper's definitely the class runner, 20 metres first up. Does have a very good record over these staying trips. Full Speed Ahead was super win last time. The one query with him is he has had his issues getting around corners, but he stays all day. So it'd be interesting to see if he handles the Devonport track or not, but if he does, he's right in it. Another swinger was probably going to win the Claimer the other day and got a flat tyre about the 400 and does begin pretty well. The distance is a slight issue for me with him. Chief Destroyer is always consistent sort of in these races, and the one I haven't mentioned so far is Rockin' and Runnin', who first up kept stepping up to the plate every time last campaign. Obviously first up over 2,600, so I think it's 3 trials. You can see super consistent. Really struggle here. Like, Full Speed Ahead's probably the safest one, but you've got that query on the track. Both Chief Destroyer and Another Swing, you'll know they'll go away. I just think, and Riverboat Jasper first up off 20. So if I was to pick one, I'd probably just Rockin' and Runner, new kid on the block. The C5 to 6 form last season in Tassie was super. So just reckon he might be the one, but so got zero confidence in that race. So just going to be interesting with the Country Cup circuit coming up, exactly how they all do go. The fifth, Rattlin' Hum, pretty similar to his stablemate in Busted. He's a bit of a box one bandit. And you'd imagine he kicks up and leads from there. You've got Tissue Bomb Bell, mad about the chase, Shadow Storm, Artarama. They all begin okay, but none quick enough to get over Rattlin' Hum, you wouldn't imagine. So we'll just have a quick look at his gate speed. So Rattlin' Hum, so his last win was at Carrick, but a pretty handy field.
Bigger odds the rest. Headed
barrier 2 on this occasion. You can see with this amount of gate speed, you're not going to get crossed from one at. You can get Lead Singer here. He's really good gate speed. Lead Singer. He's held him out. And he's going to be the leader, and he boxes on all day. And if we just do the similar thing here. So he ran third before its spell there when he led. It was that Carrick race. He led in Hobart. We got beaten 14 metres, but they've got 158 for the 2100 metre trip, which is sensational time there. You can see, like, he was in a race with Illegal Immigrant, Buster William, the Aussie. They're all free-for-all horses. And he ran 5th. And so he's in a C1 now. So, and actually, we'll just go back and have a. And the previous time he led, he won. He led and he won at Broken Hill as well. Like you see, the only times he's led, bar that time when he took on those really good horses. His record is phenomenal. He's going to lead here. I think he's I was looking at the price earlier, $2.10 seems fair enough. Yeah, so I think obviously it's the type of horse normally, if it was in Launceston, he just takes a bit of high speed and he can be a bit vulnerable late. You know, the sit sprinters getting the chance to wind up and come at him, but around Devonport he'll just keep rolling even sectionals. Is a junior drivers race, but obviously Connor Crooks, you know, won the premiership last year for the juniors, so definitely losing nothing there either. So, and probably similar to Busted, cover your outlay on the back page scribe. He's obviously going to get every possible from the trailing draw. The sixth, tricky race, this Big Bang Raj going good, probably got the speed to hold up. There is a fair bit of gate speed outside. You know, you imagine they'd nearly all be pressing forwards. For that reason, probably leaning a bit towards the bottom two. At those prices, I'd ready to fire. I don't think it's a junior driver's horse. She can do a fair bit wrong. You know, but at that price, she's the one you'd have to back. I'm Awesome's been luckless of late. If they run along as expected, definitely in the mix. And obviously Big Bang Raj, if it holds up, it's going well enough to, you know, it's obvious sort of one to beat. But at the odds, probably something small each way ready to fire. But I'd be treading very warily in the race as well. Could be funnily run with speed out wide and sort of junior drivers race, so not many of these have actually driven the respective horses previously. So yeah, tricky one, but something ready to fire. And in the last, logical favourite, Mr. Last would have been short here, but he's been scratched, so really opens the race up a little bit. You've got horses here, you know, Laconic Germain, first up for 2.5 years. Crafty Boy draws to get a soft run. Keep playing. Just jury's out a bit on him. Like, tricky draw, no gate speed. Probably have to go back. The one I'm probably looking at, Ideal Crowder, just whacks away at the one speed all day. He'll probably push forward, sit in the death. Yeah, so he's probably the one. Like, if you got that price, I'd be happy to bag him each way. So, just recapping then, he said, like, it's not a day for great value. I don't usually like tipping shorties, but as far as best bets are concerned, I'm happy to back the two Kate McLeod stablemates in Busted and Rattle and Hum. In race 2 and race 5, number 1 in both races. Definitely won't be overly pretty because they're big one paces, but they'll keep rolling along and take a lot of getting past. Happy to back North Star Lad to beat the filly in the first. And I said, if you're looking to throw out value bets, the safest way is always to pick a stand start, but I'm not sure which one out of Chief Destroyer or another swinger. Even Fortino can begin alright and got a flat tire the other day. So really struggled with that race despite having the most exposed form. Not sure where Iron Compliant's at. So it makes it hard to tip against him with any confidence. So Ideal Corrales first up, but super honest, and you know what you're going to get. He'll just go whacking away. So we'll make those the bets. So win bets race 2 and race 5 on the pole horse. I'd probably shop early on North Star Lad. Just can't imagine that. I imagine the prices get very close to evening up. And in the last, something each way on Ideal Corrada. And I also think Home in the Bayers should almost be a bet to nothing as well on an each way basis. So anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up there. Yeah, you can't invent value if it's not there. So, but just keep in mind, probably most importantly, it is an afternoon meeting, so never know, might actually get a bit more liquidity in the pools. We can only hope. So anyway, we'll wrap it up and we'll catch you all later. Cheers.